Mr. Biden, I thought you were going to help immigrants. I am helping immigrants. I'm helping Afghans and I'm helping Mexicans. Well, what about the people in Haiti? The entire country's been destroyed by an earthquake for the second time in 10 years. And all of those Haitian migrants are coming across the border, and instead of you helping them, you're shipping them back. That's all part of helping them. Sending them back helps them out. How does it help them to send them back to a country suffering? It helps because I'm trying to preserve white hegemony. Don't you know white birth rates are at an all-time low? That's why I'm importing Afghans and Mexicans, because they can fit better into American society. Don't you think that's racist? No, it's not racist. It's all about white hegemony. I'm all about white hegemony because I am a guy who supports guys like Strom Thurmond and many others. Didn't you read my agenda? Didn't you read my political platform? Didn't you read about me? No. Well, that's typical of you colored folks. You never do your research, and you don't really understand what's going on here. I'm helping immigrants who are going to help me preserve white hegemony. These Afghans and these Mexicans can assimilate better into society, and they're going to claim white once their children grow up. So I'm doing what's best for America, and that's white hegemony. White hegemony. White hegemony. Ah! We should have thought twice before we voted for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party.
Now available for pre-order on Kindle. Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Pre-order your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace on Kindle today.
It seems like there are two different immigration systems under the Biden administration. And under these two immigration systems, we are seeing that the Biden administration treats your black immigrants different than it does its non-black immigrants. Now, in the aftermath of the tragic assassination of the Haitian president and the devastating earthquake which practically destroyed all of Haiti, we have a flood of Haitians who have come to the Texas border. Now, these Haitian immigrants, they are not being received with welcome and open arms by the Biden administration, and many are being told that they are going to be sent back to their devastated country, which is in political turmoil. Now, in contrast to the way your Haitians are being treated, we are seeing an influx of Afghans coming into the country after the country fell to the Taliban due to the complete bungling of your Biden administration's withdrawal from the country. Now, in contrast to the way that your Haitians are being treated, your Afghans are getting a red carpet rolled out for them, and they are being brought into the country with no background screening to see if they are associated with any sort of terrorist organization, and they are not being made to take any sort of jab as related to a certain pandemic that is going on. And many of these Afghans are not being vetted, and they are practically going wherever they want all across the country, being driven by Ubers to other parts off the bases that they're on, and the Biden administration has no problem with this. Moreover, your Biden administration is going out and trying to make provisions to give your Afghans welfare and a host of government loans and grants so that they can go out and start businesses in black communities and other communities all across the country. Now, I find it interesting that the Afghan gets a red carpet rolled out for them by the Biden administration. However, your black immigrant from Haiti gets nothing but contempt expressed towards them. Because when I look at much of the news as related to the whole way Haitians have been treated, we have many news reports that are toned, making it sound like they have a view of sending them back and believing that they are justified in sending them back. However, the news reports as related to Afghans are extremely sympathetic And many of these reports, as related to the Afghan, are all about rolling out the red carpet, helping out the Afghan, and helping them get a better life in America. Well, I have a critical question for many of these Americans as related to immigration. Why is it that we want to treat the Afghan in such an amicable way, but the Haitian, who has suffered far more, we don't want to give them any sort of helping hand? That's a critical question I want to ask, because when I look at the Haitian, who has seen their entire country destroyed and is in, political chaos because their president was assassinated, I would believe that the Haitian would be the one, based on the perils that they're dealing with, would be more deserving of political asylum or any sort of immigration policy that benefits them. I would think that would be the case, but instead of going out and rolling out that red carpet for the Haitian, we start to see extremely disturbing pictures of your Haitians being attacked by your immigration officers on horseback. And these images are just so disturbing because they take us back to the dark days of slavery, when your paddle rollers were looking for escaped slaves. And that's what was something that's really disturbing, is we see these images of these not paddle rollers, but these men on horseback going out here whipping these black immigrants with reins or trying to rope them up. And these images are just like what we saw in many of these slave movies, and these images are coming to life to many Americans on screen. And instead of being appalled and disturbed by the images that they're seeing, we see a whole host of apathy from many of your Americans, and even some black Americans. Now, many black people, I can understand why they are really indifferent, because many of the foreign-born blacks really, when they come to America, they express great contempt for African Americans. Many of these people, like these Haitians and Jamaicans and many others, they expressed extreme contempt for black Americans, talking down to black Americans, acting like they're better than black Americans, and going out here and buck dancing and bojangling in front of white people. And they will go out here, and when they see a white female, start simping. This is something I know from experience, and then Mad Black 80, he talked about it too. But these people will sit there and treat a black person who is an American like myself with a second-class status. But when I look at those images, they are appalling and disturbing, and they really show how callous your Biden administration is, and how there is a clear double standard as related to black immigrants versus white immigrants coming to America. Now, your non-black people, like your Afghans and your Mexicans, they will get a red carpet rolled out for them. They will get given all sorts of government benefits and opportunities to be supported. But a black immigrant, when they come here, they are basically treated in the most inhumane way, because when we look at those images of these men on horseback chasing these black immigrants, it just again is extremely appalling, because it takes us back to those dark days of slavery. And it just really shows me how your immigration is really starting to take on a white supremacist tone, because like in the old days of the turn of the century, your white birth rates were at an all-time low, I believe. But what they wanted to do was assimilate your Italians, your Greeks, your Scottish, your Irish, and your Germans into the country, and they wanted them to become the new white people. And it looks like what they're trying to do now is the exact same thing, with your Mexicans and your Afghans. They are looking to assimilate them and make them the new white people. And that's what they're believing to do in 3 generations. And that's all part of the whole concept of white hegemony, because white birth rates here in America are at an all-time low. And many people want to find a way to import those who they believe will assimilate into society. And many of your people from groups like Mexico and many of the South American countries and many Middle Eastern countries, they will go out here and in a generation or two then start claiming themselves as whatever ethnicity they are, and then start claiming themselves as white. That's one of the things that they're trying to do to reestablish the white population here in America, which has been practically ravaged due to feminism, because white birth rates are an all-time low due to white women going out here and becoming a part of the workforce. And what they want to do is go out here and import other people. That's why I believe they are giving preference to the Afghan and other ethnicities that can go out here and assimilate, and they are going out here and looking to send your black immigrants back because they don't want a black population growing in America. And when it comes down to the Haitian, we're seeing this happen to them. Now, what reinforces this is that we're seeing that the Haitians that are allowed in, the few that are mostly women and children, and the men are being sent back to Haiti. Now, the reason why they are bringing the women and children in is because they basically can control the female and use the female to control the black community. And the male, they don't want him here because, one, the black man who is in a leadership role is not something they want to promote, and they don't want you to see a black man going out here and having any sort of economic or political power that he would get through these government programs. And even though the Haitian male is in some cases a bootleg, they just don't want that to happen, nor do they want to see a black man being able to spread his seed in the country and start having more children. So when I look at the Biden administration's whole immigration policy, it's looking like it's all about promoting your white hegemony, and your black voter is looking like a complete fool at this point because they were the ones who voted for your Joe Biden, and it looks like your Joe Biden is implementing an anti-black policy as related to his immigration. The door is open for your non-white and your non-black immigrants, but the black immigrants, they can't come here. But your black voter was warned all about this. Unfortunately, your black voter, especially the baby boomers, went out here and voted to bring Joe Biden in because the evil orange man was so bad. And now they're seeing that your Biden isn't good for black people, but black people tried to warn them out here, many in new black media, but none of these black folks listened, and now they are paying the price for going out here and supporting a president who does not support black people, does not support black empowerment, and now seeing like he doesn't support blacks here or abroad. Now, this video is not going to be monetized because of YouTube's policies, and the only way I can stay on the air is if you donate to the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. So if you could donate to the Cash App, it would be greatly appreciated, and it'll help me be able to make more videos. And if you want to pick up some of my books on the SJS Direct Imprint, you can find those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.